So number one for me was actually realizing that the activities that I was doing before weren't beneficial to chest growth. So I used to be huge into basketball, and if you look at a lot of basketball players, they're not actually developed in the chest. Even if other parts of them are developed, they tend to have a more leaner build. Anyways, they might have developed arms, developed legs, but chest is usually always lacking. Even the bigger players, like if you look at Dwight Howard, who was always seen as a big person, like he's almost like 6 or 7 feet tall. His chest, in my opinion, was always underdeveloped. So, and also for obvious reasons, because if you're shooting a basketball, like having a big chest is actually counterintuitive to that. So, from coming from a basketball space, I realized like, oh, like it's either I choose being a nice shooter or being someone with a bigger chest. And this was around the time where I was transitioning anyways to play more football than basketball. So having a bigger body was more beneficial anyway. So, but again, number one was realizing that there was activities that I was doing that were not conducive to me building a chest. It's almost like trying to be a marathon runner and building a chest at the same time. It's kind of going against each other. Number two, for sure, was actually working on the muscle more than once. As in, you might have a workout program that hits chest twice a week, legs twice a week, shoulders twice a week. Whatever your split is, like it's standard. Every body part is getting the same amount of work. But in reality, if it's a weak point, you actually need to do more work than the other body parts. So for me, when I decided like, oh man, your chest is lacking, for me it was okay, I need to be working on chest like 3 times a week and like really doing more than just the standard, right? Standard like, oh, 10 to 12 sets of sorry, 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. I was not doing that. I threw that out the window. I was just doing pyramids on the machine, honestly. Like I was just going, let's say it was a chest press, I was going, 40 pounds, 10 reps, 50 pounds, 10, 60, 10, 70, like literally all the way up to the point I couldn't anymore and then work my way back down. So I was doing a ton of volume on that and I was doing it for 3 times a week, maybe until I actually felt like I caught up with the rest of my body. The third one is probably, this is also huge too, muscle mind connection. When for the longest time when I was bench pressing, I would use my arms, right? And that's a big problem that a lot of people have when they first get in the gym. They'll use other body parts to compensate because they don't actually know how to contract. And I use this demonstration a lot where even somebody at the hotel, at my friend's condo was the security guard was like, "Oh, you're big, like can you give me some tips, whatever?" And I remember going behind the desk and showing him like, feel no, I'm like feel my chest, and I did a push movement and my chest does not move at all when I did that. And then I did the same thing. I'm like, feel it now. And then he felt the contraction. I'm like, okay, for the first movement, I just use all my arm, right? And the second one, I literally just squeeze with my chest. So my chest is doing all the work on the second one. So that's what I was doing for a long time. I was just lifting weight, not really focusing on which muscle I'm using to push it. But as soon as I change it, lower the weight a little bit so I can actually focus on the contraction. Then I'm like, okay, now I get a chest pump. Now I get an actual workout. Now I'm sore in that area. It's okay. That makes more sense. So muscle mind connection, making sure that you're actually using the muscle you're trying to grow to push through the movement. Um, Another cue I have is this is very common, but it's surprising how many people don't do it. Actually progressively overloading, which is having the goal of lifting more weight the next time you come to the gym. Obviously, if you're doing it 3 times a week, you don't need to increase every single time, but every single time you should be making it harder. So if you did 60 pounds on the incline bench press, and that reminds me to bring up something else after this. Um, I remember being in a plateau, not even a plateau. I was just staying in the same place. Like I would go to on the Smith machine incline bench press, and I would rep out 4 reps or 3 reps of 315 on the incline, but I would never choose to go higher than that. I was like, oh, that's enough, whatever. I don't like 1 rep max. I don't do them, but for a long time, I was just in this range of like 275 to 315 without pushing myself more. And then one day I'm just like, okay, go on the actual flat bench, the free bar flat bench, and that's out your 315, like without assistance. And I did a decent amount more than that, but it just showed me like you can get comfortable with the same weight, even though the weight is hard, but it's like you don't realize that you can lift more. So it's very important. That's why I like the Smith machine, honestly, because you can push to your max because it is guided and you don't need a spotter, and it's more safe than doing it on a free barbell. But the fourth or the fifth point that I was going to bring up was, um, I think focusing on upper chest a lot, I think helped with the fullness, because a lot of people, they'll focus on chest and you see their chest developing, but the hardest part to grow is like the upper chest. Is very flat usually, and there's only a few people in person that I've seen that actually have a really nice shelf. Because I don't like the titty look, honestly. I like the flat plate look. Like, you can still be a big chest, but the flat plate look, in my opinion, is what I really like. So getting that side chest to come out, or sorry, the upper chest to come out, to give that full aspect, or that full figure, if that makes sense, is really beneficial. So I focus a lot on upper body. I very rarely did flat bench. I never did uh, decline anything, honestly. It was just incline Smith machine, incline bench press, incline dumbbell bench press, and I'll do some flies, like a lot of flies actually, lateral flies, um, or crossover cable flies, whatever you want to call it. But then I would do the ones from the other angle where you come up and up through, because that would hit more upper chest too. So I was just focusing on upper chest because I'm like, number one, all these exercises are still incorporating the median of the chest, but because that's the hardest part to grow and then most neglected, then I'm like, okay, I'm going to focus on that more, and then it gives you that nice aesthetic afterwards. Anyways, the one thing that I will say that I'm going to go do forward is, I do warm up a lot. um that's part of the pyramid process, where it's like you're starting off really light and then you work your way up. To me, that's a warm up. But I will say, I think doing push-ups before a chest workout would probably be so beneficial, because for whatever reason, push-ups get my chest so pumped up. Like, just doing 20 sets, like you do one set of 20 reps, sorry, not 20 sets, wow. uh Doing 20 reps of a set like twice, my chest is on fire, bro. So I'm like, oh, if I did that before my chest workout, it would be already pumped full of blood. It would be, like that balloon feeling. Like, I'll do that before a chest workout. So that I haven't done that yet, but I'm going to start doing that, because the bigger the chest gets, the harder it is to put on more size with it anyway. So you kind of have to find ways to enhance it and everything like that. But those are my tips for growing actual nice chest.